Cultures and economies in the northern Gulf are built around coastal natural areas. Tourism alone in the region accounts for more than 75,000 jobs and more than 50% of the ocean economy. Despite how important the coast is for our livelihood, living near it means living with ever-increasing risks. Sea level rise, in particular, will have a serious impact on our people, infrastructure, and economies. Since 1978, northern Gulf communities have made over 130,000 property damage or loss claims due to flooding. Sea level rise is multiplying the effects of storm surge, causing more high tide flooding and making other hazards such as erosion even worse. By considering sea level rise when planning, it is possible to increase community resilience, speeding storm recovery, and minimizing damage risks from future storms. This eases adaptation to the changing environment while protecting coastal livelihood. Incorporating sea level rise resilience into planning can take numerous forms in both the public and private sectors through wetland protection, living shorelines, building codes that consider storm surge with sea level rise, and strategic placement of critical infrastructure. Successful resilience planning requires considering when, where, and how sea level rise places people and infrastructures like bridges and power plants into harm's way, and what can be done to prepare for it. Case studies developed in the northern Gulf show how easily an individual or a community can incorporate sea level rise into planning. Using these as examples, communities can develop different ways of mitigating risk, with natural shoreline nourishment and reinforcement, partnering with researchers, and updating master plans to account for increased sea levels. When planning for the future, remember that sea level rise will affect all communities differently. Strong, long-term resilience planning relies on scenarios. This scenario approach uses existing knowledge about sea level rise to model a range of possible futures and gauge community impacts as water levels increase. These scenarios aren't predicting the future, but they are describing potential future conditions and changes. As a scenario projects a greater amount of sea level rise, its likelihood of occurring decreases. This is because some things, like small amounts of sea level rise, are certain of happening. It's similar to storm predictions. It's certain the northern Gulf will experience thunderstorms in any given year, but it's less certain that a large hurricane will strike. Like with storms, more extreme sea level rise scenarios are definitely possible, but have a lower chance of occurring. Understanding these probabilities increases the effectiveness of scenario-based planning. A major consideration in scenario-based planning is risk tolerance, or how much communities want to minimize the chance of flooding. For example, water treatment plants and hospitals are installations that need protection against any potential flooding, even if the risk is small, because it's critical to the community that they are able to function. Selecting scenarios that consider specific risk tolerance needs ensure critical infrastructure can continue to provide valuable services for the community. Sea level rise resilience planning may sound like a daunting task, requiring a lot of resources. But communities don't have to plan alone. Tools from reliable organizations, including federal and state agencies, have laid the groundwork. Online interactive maps and reports help planners understand how different sea level rise scenarios may impact communities. Additional resources help communities understand the questions that should be asked to ensure preparedness and assess risk. There are even websites designed to match the most relevant of these tools to the specific needs of each community. Resilience planning doesn't always require the expense and time of developing new data or hiring experts. Rather, effective resilience planning requires reliable data, community input, and prioritized needs. Sea level will continue to rise, but communities have the ability to mitigate risk through planning that looks to the future. Turning to neighbors along the coast for successful strategies, using available tools to understand and assess risk, and involving multiple perspectives from within the community all provide a pathway to resilience that will protect life, property, and industry in the decades to come.